Hello, guys. This is Jordan Bunch. We are going to take a bit of time today to discuss the concepts of prompting and the prompting hierarchy as it applies to the field of applied behavior analysis. So, first off, we're going to just break it down very basic into the concept of prompting. What is prompting? Prompting refers to providing assistance or cues to encourage the use of a specific skill. So, this is essentially a strategy we're using on a daily basis as a ABA practitioner to encourage the behavior change that we want to see. So when we're giving prompts or we are trying to prompt a child to engage in a specific behavior, this is something that's vital to know because second bullet says prompting is utilized on a daily basis by behavior practitioners. So when we're using something so often and it's so crucial in the intervention success that we need to have, it's important to master this skill. So we need to know about the different types of prompting, how they're effective, what situations they apply in, so we can be better. So when we're looking, it's a useful and effective teaching tool. We have an excellent quote here from Libby Weiss Bancroft and Ahern in 2008. It says developing efficient and effective procedures for teaching students with autism and other developmental delays is fundamental to advancing applied behavior analysis as a field. So this isn't even something that's always crucial in individual cases. It's also crucial to the field as a whole. So when we're looking at prompting, we need to be efficient and effective in order to get the desired outcome we're looking for. So moving to the next piece of information here, we're going to look at the prompting hierarchy. So this illustration was obtained by the website Different Roads. Prompting hierarchy starts out at the natural level where we have full independence. That's the top of the pyramid. That's where everyone wants to be at. And then we go down to visual prompt. Then we go to verbal prompt, followed by gestural prompt, modeling, partial physical prompt, and finally full physical prompt. I'm going to show this illustration. This is an excellent illustration by exceptional little learners. We actually have this illustration around my entire clinic. We actually have it hung up so everyone can look at it because sometimes it is easy to kind of get different types of prompting mixed up. So it's an excellent tool just to kind of break things down to help everyone out. Starting out, like we said, we're at the top of the pyramid right now. For independent, we're looking at student completing the work with no additional prompting. So that's essentially the best of the best. It's not always realistic. We're not going to be at this stage for a lot of our kiddos just because if our kids did everything to a full independent level, they wouldn't be receiving ABA therapy. That's just reality. However, this is a goal we want to get at. We may have to fade prompts to get there. We may get there in a different method. But when we're looking at independent, just an example that I could give is if I'm with a kiddo that knows his daily routine is he needs to brush his teeth after he eats. Okay, he finishes his lunch up and he just goes, brushes his teeth to the full best of his ability, comes straight back. That's a full independent task that he has completed. We go down to the other step below independent, which is still a really good place to be at. We're at verbal prompt. Verbal prompt is where the teacher just gives prompts verbally. It's kind of self-explanatory, such as match green or put in. So that you're just essentially verbally requesting for a client to do something. That's what a verbal prompt is. That's something that is probably used most common from all the experience I've had in ABA. We love our verbal prompts. They're not always successful, and they can be overused. They can be underused. So there are considerations to take in before we do something like that. We move down. We go to gestural prompt. It's just where a teacher is pointing to an object or pointing to the correct answer. So we're just guiding our learner, and just using a gesture to show them, hey, this is where we need to be at. This is the correct answer. This is what we should do. So if I have a kid that wants to, um, let's say I have a kid that works really, really hard and he wants to go to the gym as a reward. I could point, hey, this we need to do this first before we go to the gym as a reward, and you do this first, then we got it. Okay, so I can just point at whatever action I want them to do, whatever task I want them to complete. This is what we're doing first. If they have trouble with the task, it could be like, hey, blue is the correct color I want you to pick up. So pick up blue. Then I point at the color blue. They pick up the color blue. Then modeling. This is where the teacher shows students what to do and completes a question for students. So modeling is where we are teaching the task all together. We're just essentially modeling what the task is and how do we do it. So if I want to effectively teach a child some ADLs, which are essentially just normal daily living things that they need to master, such as, let's say, sweeping the room. If I have a child that spills their food, I would model and I would show, hey, this is the correct way to sweep the room. And then they could watch me, and then they're learning from me just by watching me do it the correct way. Or by tying a pair of shoes. I could take my own pair of shoes, tie my pair of shoes in front of them, let them see how the process is correctly done. Then they can learn from that. They may remember some of the steps just by watching. Finally, we're down a little bit more to the more adversive stuff. We're looking at partial physical. Partial physical is the teacher nudges student to the correct spot to begin activity. So that's where we're leading them a little bit more. And it requires partial physical contact to get there. So it's just, if I have a kid that just totally stops in front of me and he needs to continue moving, or if we got people behind us, I give them a little nudge, please keep going, and then full physical, this is the most intrusive procedure out of the entire hierarchy. This is where we're completing hand over hand assistance. So I think some people misconstrue hand over hand, and they want to say, well, you're doing the task for the child. You're not necessarily doing that, but you are physically guiding them to complete the task. So if I have a child, some of my little ones may work on completing a puzzle. They don't know where the piece goes, or they're struggling to fully pick up the piece, hold it in their hands. I would just gently put my hand over their hand and then guide it into the correct spot. This is where we have to start for a lot of our kiddos, but the goal is just to continue going up that ladder until we reach full independence. So thank you guys for the time. Then here are the references, some of the stuff that we discussed, where we gained some information from, and I hope you guys have a great day.